This is an update on my watchmaker education. I'll talk about where I'm at in my classes, the tools that I've bought so far, and I'll even share how much it all cost. I'm now taking the Watch 101 class at the Norwest School of Horology. I have 2 sessions left. I've already signed up for the Watch 102 class, which starts on December 2nd. Then in the spring, I'll take Watch 103. The Watch 101 class is a lot of fun. I'm really into it. I look forward to every class, and I'm just super happy at how this adventure of mine is panning out. Each student in the class has gotten a pocket watch movement to work on for the remainder of the class. And so I've been disassembling, cleaning, lubricating, and reassembling an Elgin pocket watch. Elgin was a very big watchmaking company that existed from 1864 to 1968. I looked up the serial number of the movement that I've been assigned. It was manufactured in 1925. Last week and this week, we talked about lubricants, their types, application, how to care for them, and how to clean lubrication tools. Here's what my movement looks like right now. You can see that the balance wheel and hairspring are off because the class is lubricating the pallet fork and balance on Monday, and the pallet fork, well, requires some special techniques, and we're all going to learn that on Monday. After that, we'll all complete the reassembly of our movements. Now I'm going to describe what I've bought so far. I've tried to make the purchase tally accurate, but some purchases were part of other larger purchases, and so then I had to split them out and I had to make sure that I allocated tax and shipping, and I just estimated that. So some of the individual numbers that I show you will be a little off, but at the end, the grand total that I give you is from my household ledger, which has all the costs tallied by category, and so that's going to be accurate. I should also say that the costs that I show you are not the lowest cost possible. They're a mixture of buying new versus used, name brands versus knockoff clones, auction versus retail, and in auction sometimes I bid on an auction, sometimes on eBay I did make an offer to a seller, and sometimes I clicked on Buy Me Now. So I'm not going to claim that I spent the least amount possible. What I did is I spent the least amount based on how much time I was willing to put into searching. Sometimes after searching for a bit, I say, that's it, cut it, and just go buy the thing. Finally, remember that I'm just starting out on my watchmaker journey. To a first approximation, what I'm about to share with you is how much you would spend if you got into horology as a second career. Your final numbers might be a little different, but certainly I think you'd spend in the ballpark of what I spent. The total amount spent on the Watch 101 registration and on the impending Watch 102 registration, $750. I've joined 2 clockmaker and watchmaker organizations, the American Watchmakers Clockmakers Institute and the National Association of Watch and Clock Collectors. Total amount spent on membership in those organizations, $248. Before I share my cost, here are the vendors I used to buy the tools. Locally, R&B Supply in Seattle is the company to buy from. They're located on 3rd Avenue. A lot of stuff, very friendly proprietor, super helpful, super knowledgeable. I bought from these 3 companies, and these specialize in horological tools. For general retailer and auction sites, Harbor Freight was great. AliExpress, we got some really cheap prices, but it's a very noisy site that you really have to watch out what you're buying. eBay's pretty obvious. I have a few favorite auction sites, and for each purchase when I decided to look at auctions, I looked at each one, but I kept coming back to eBay. And for miscellaneous purchases, these are for things that weren't specifically watchmaker tools, but some sort of general stuff, like Kim wipes, for instance. I bought a box of Kim wipes. I don't have to go to a horology site for that. Now for a tour of my home workbench as it exists today. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about what each thing does, just a brief summary, and of course I'm going to break down prices for each thing. So here's my workbench as it exists today. It's actually a stand-up desk that I already had. For storage space, I bought a set of wooden drawers, which you see on the right-hand side. I'll talk about that in a bit. So far, this is working out okay as a workbench, and I hope it lasts me through the next year or 2. If not, I may have to buy a real workbench. Only time will tell. So now I'm going to start on the left, and go over to the right. Starting on the left, we have my microscope. This is a Amscope SM4T. This is for examining the condition of jewels, lubrication work, and other miscellaneous poking around when examining a movement's condition. With the supplied eyepieces, it provides 7x to 45x magnification, which is a good range for the kind of work that I'm doing. The double arm boom provides great stability. And all of the head and boom axes are adjustable, so I can position the head exactly where I want it. The stereo eyepieces are 30mm eyepieces. I'm not well versed in microscope technology. I've learned about eyepieces and microscopes only enough to make my purchase. For whatever reason, 30mm is the standard size for stereo microscopes. 23mm is the size for most compound microscopes. I don't know why that is. So these are 30mm. This third port here is what's one of the special things about this model. This is a triocular head. So these are for your eyeballs, and this is for a camera. 23mm eyepiece, 30mm eyepiece. So for cameras, from what I can tell, a typical smartphone has a better camera than you can find in a dedicated microscope camera. Microscope cameras, you pay $850, $900, and you get 8 megapixels. So yeah, I'm going to be using my smartphone. So now I'm hunting for a smartphone adapter for that third port. The one you see most frequently online is this. It's a Swift adapter, but it works only for 26 or 28mm eyepiece ports, not 30 and not 23. Why didn't they make adapters for 30 or 23mm? I don't know. Maybe there was some physics or optics reason why. I thought I researched it properly, but I didn't because this is useless to me. Next up at bat for a smartphone adapter is the PhoneScope company. I think their adapter will work, but it's a little pricey. I'm trading email with the company to confirm this because I don't want to make the same mistake twice, and I'll continue looking for cheaper alternatives. Total spent on the microscope, including the Swift adapter that now sits on a shelf, $622. Ronsonol is a brand of naphtha. It's used for hand cleaning parts. The jars are for the cleaning and rinsing. This stuff, one dip, is used to clean hairsprings and for very quick part cleaning. It's trichloroethylene. I'm sure that just my holding this unopened can is giving birth defects to everyone within a radius of 5 houses. This covered tray, the green thing, is for holding parts removed from a movement. Total spent on the cleaning supplies and the parts tray, $65. Now we're going to move down here. So here we have screwdrivers. Often you see screwdrivers in a sort of a round thing all around in a circle. This is a kit in a wooden box with replacement screwdriver bits. These are tools for doing lubrication, for doing oiling. This is an oiling container for sitting on your desk with the lubricants that you're about to use. These are oilers. They're basically little pins with knobbies on the end for putting a microscopic bit of lubrication on something. And this gizmo is an automatic oiler used for certain kinds of jewels. Here we have my eye loop. It's a 3x eye loop. I might buy a 5x or a 10x. Sometimes I want a little bit more than 3x, but not as much as the microscope will give me. So maybe I might buy another loop with a slightly higher power. The total amount spent on that stuff, $380. Coming over here, we have a movement holder for holding a movement when you're working on it. This is a case stand. If you're working on a movement, it goes in this, but if you're working on a full case for whatever reason, or you're working to get the movement out of the case, you use a case stand or pad or platform, I guess. It has a nice soft cushion, so it's guaranteed to not scratch the case. These are finger cots. They are prophylactics for your fingers, so you don't touch movements with your bare flesh, which has oils and contaminants. I bought a bag of these, 320 of those. You use them for a bit, then you throw them out. A plexiglass stick I got for free. 2 tweezers. One is a brass tweezers. You use brass because brass is softer than any of the metal in a watch and hence will tend to not scratch watch parts. This is an anti-magnetic set of tweezers. I bought 2 cans of compressed air. This was a mistake. I should have bought just 1, but I got a good price on 2, but 2's a lot. So I should probably have paid a little bit more for just 1 can. Oh well. Oh, and then this is a puffer for manually blowing air on something. And then I also bought, I'm going to step back here, a desk lamp because, well, you need illumination. And this is actually a nice one. It's an LED lamp and the arms move. And as is the case with LED lamps, you can choose multiple colors and brightness levels as a remote control. Yeah, okay, great. Total amount spent on all of that, $274. These items are for my metalwork practice. This is a kit of files and rasps. I maybe could have bought just 2 or 3, but the kit was really convenient. We have a vise to hold the brass bars that I'll be working on, and we have a jeweler's hacksaw. And the idea is I'm going to be practicing cutting and filing, so I do better on my bench test in January. Total spent, $113. This is a very nice set of wooden drawers that I bought from Harbor Freight. Some students use this as their mobile kit, but I found it too heavy and cumbersome, but I bought it to use as drawers for my workbench, which is really a desk. On the top you see a box of 2-ply Kim wipes. They're lint-free and they're used for part cleaning and cleaning out the lubricant cups with 99% isopropyl alcohol. Now I haven't labeled each drawer because I'm not sure where I'll finally want different items to be. So they're sort of randomly organized right now. Let me walk you through them. First up, a box of 1,000 sheets of watch tissue. Think of this as very high quality, lint-free, anti-tarnish tissue paper that you wrap very, very, very delicate watch parts in for temporary storage. Here we have a black light, which you use to find jewels when they've fallen on the ground. Hey, the battery's kind of dead. All right, I'm gonna have to charge that up. A little small work light, normal flashlight for finding stuff when they fall on the ground. We have a knife for sharpening my pithwood. This gizmo is a screwdriver holder, and you use it in conjunction with these abrasive pads to dress up a screwdriver. So when you use a screwdriver enough times or a set of tweezers, the end can become a little mangled, chipped or gouged, and of course you need them to be as pristine as possible, and so we practice sharpening up our screwdriver tips. Here we have 2 ST3600 or ST36 watch movements that I bought off AliExpress. I have been experimenting with these, working on practicing my disassembly and reassembly, and we have some hairsprings that I bought because I'm going to be practicing hairspring manipulation, which is also part of the bench test for WTI that I'll be retaking in January. The bag of the 320 finger cots, I think I told you about that. These are just small little glass vials that I bought to assist with cleaning. Put a small amount of cleaning solution in here and you cover it up when you're not using it so that it doesn't evaporate. And when you're manually cleaning watch parts, you need brushes. So this is a little brush set. Total spent on these bench drawers and the Kim wipes and the contents of the drawers. $382. Next up, this fishing tackle box. This is a 2-level fishing tackle box that I bought from Big 5 Sporting Goods. It has a lot of storage, and this is the mobile kit that I was using when I started my class. And the idea is when you're taking a watchmaking class, unless all the tools are in the classroom waiting for you, you have to buy your own tools and bring them to and from class. I thought this would hold me for the first year. Look at all the storage it has. I grew out of it after 3 weeks. This is my current mobile kit. Look at this big boy. This is a Plano Guide Series Stowaway 4x rack system tackle box. I know it's a mouthful, but you've got a compartment on 2 compartments on top and 4 underneath. And I use this to transport my tools and supplies to and from class. And now I'm going to go through it. This is a squishy ball. You use this for opening watch cases where the case back is screw-on. You press it up against the watch and you unscrew the back without scratching it. This is just a nice little part stand and holder. It's a ubiquitous design. You can put parts in here and then you can cover them up with this nice plastic cover. When you're working on a movement and you step away from your workbench and you want to protect it from dust, you can put this on the movement to protect it. When I go to and from class, a lot of the stuff that you saw before, I take with me to class, and so it goes in the top compartment or in these 2 bins. Right now, this is holding way more than the fishing tackle box did. Okay, we have a Delrin tip tweezers, plastic tip tweezers, a special form of plastic, mainly for working with watch hands. So the plastic tips, the Delrin tips, prevent the hands from being scratched. These are different shaped Seiko watch case openers for watch cases that are snap closed. And there are 3 different shapes for different Seiko watches, but they're useful on all sorts of cases. This is a spring bar tool for removing watch bands from the watch case. This is another kind of tool for prying open snap closed watch cases. A tool for removing hands and cannon pinions from watch dials. Rodico, which is a special putty that we use for cleaning and picking up miscellaneous debris. When the squishy ball doesn't work, you move up to this. This is a watch back pliers. For watch backs where it's a screw-on and in the back you've seen sometimes the watch back will have rectangular or square indentations around the outside. You set this to the right diameter, put it on the watch back and turn. And there are tools more powerful than this, but this is like a step up from the squishy ball. These are tools, double-sided tools for reattaching watch hands to their pins and pivots on the dial face. This stuff is pegwood, a different size pegwood sticks. Pegwood is used for cleaning little small holes in movements like where jewels sit. This is pithwood. Pithwood is used for cleaning mainly oil lubrication tools, oiler tools. So this is a piece of pithwood. In fact, you can see little depressions in it. You basically use an oiler. When you want to clean the oiler, you stick it in the pithwood and the pithwood scrapes off anything on the surface of the oiler. This is a lot of fun. All the tools are analog, except this one. A set of digital calipers, 4 inches long. I was going to go buy analog calipers just to keep pure. The class instructor said, no, if you buy analog calipers, you're a ninny. Digital calipers are the way to go. So among all the tools I have, this is the only thing that's digital. So total spent on the mobile kit and its contents, including the fishing tackle box, which now sits unused, and I hope the missus can use it in her gardening work someday, $510. Now, in addition to all that, there are some items that are in transit that I've paid for that aren't here yet, but they will be arriving this week. I bought a Chinese clone of a Bergeon 5372, which is a press used for extracting and inserting jewels into a movement. I bought a set of 5 lubricants that I'll be using on most or all of the movements that I work on in the next year. I also bought a pin vise, which is used for straightening pivots, and that's coming this week. The total cost of all the items in transit, $310. And now here's the grand total. This number comes from my household ledger, so it's accurate. There's no double counting or leaving something off. The grand total of everything that I have bought to date, $3,536. And that's how much I've spent on my 3rd act career so far, and I'm just in my 1st class. Till next time, take care.